One.
Hello, NFL fans. Welcome back to Hurdle the Line. This is your Week 16 review show. And let me tell you, it's going to be a hot one because we've got Tom, as always. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Super producer Fletch in the flesh is here. Fletch off of Lions loss. So we know he's going to be spitting fire. And then we've got the one, the only, our co host from the preview show, the six-time Super Bowl champion, the fan of Arsenal, which I love, my man Carl. Carl,
I'm
how
all
are we?
good. I'm all good, mate. It's good to be covering Ollie for tonight's show. Hopefully, I won't disappoint. Hope everyone's all good. And yeah, this was a bit of a crazy week, shall we say?
It was a crazy week, and I'll say this: I really think Ollie would have been here had Garrett broke that sack record. So we're
Mm.
gonna have to wait another week. So we'll see. Um, yes, as you mentioned, we had one of the best, if not the best, Thursday night game in the history of Thursday night game, which is a very low bar, but this game was awesome. We're gonna get into which was the Seahawks and the Rams, which has a lot to do with the NFC race for the playoffs and the number one seed. Some good games, some bad games. Week 16 was like, just revving us up for Christmas. So we're getting into it. And then a game that we said earlier in our pregame show that we would shoot into the moon and never talk about again, which I'm not looking at you, Tom. I am looking at you, Tom. Anyway, before we get into it, I mean, there's a couple injuries. Lamar Jackson went out the game yesterday, did not finish the game in the loss to the Patriots. But when is Lamar not hurt this week, as Tom said earlier? Also, Gardner Minshew looks to have torn his ACL, so he's out. Tell me about your third string quarterback. What's his name again? No, we don't
It's
care. We actually don't care, Tom. Sorry. Anyway,
good job I
I
don't
think
carry this.
yeah, well, I told you, man. Just so everyone knows, we've been coasting Ollie, a Browns fan, and obviously me as a Falcons fan, has been coasting through what a losing season means. And we've been saying you continue to root for your team, but you want them to lose because you need high draft picks. And it's Tom is getting there, but it's very difficult. Anyway, um, Carl had 1 year of that, and that was it for him. And then they struck gold again, of
Uh,
course.
5 years of that.
Well, I
Get
mean, you
get
had
your
that one.
facts right. five
Yeah, it
years of
was fine. You
that.
weren't bottoming him out. You weren't bottoming out. All right.
Yes, of course we were.
All right. Let's start with what is the game of the week, which oddly was the first game of the week, which was Thursday Night Football, which was the Los Angeles Rams in Seattle, the Seattle Seahawks in the most bizarre game I've ever seen. 2-point conversion palooza. Wins 38 to 37. Guys, I want to ask you both, what do you guys think about the Seahawks after this win? And what do you think about the Rams after this win? And then let's talk about the game. Carl, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Seattle legit. They only just lost by 2 points to the Rams in their first meeting. They missed a field goal. They could have swept the Rams. But this was a game which we had to see Sam Darnold really come of age. Two touchdowns. He did throw two interceptions, but it was always going to be a dicey sort of game. Um, but he put the team on his back, and he carried him to a win as well. A very good performance from Seattle. I don't think we should be taking too much stock off the Rams. Um, Stafford still played really well. He still threw for three touchdowns. He was still very, very good. If this was just a case of who was going to get the ball last, and in this case, it was Seattle. In this case, Seattle. They got the game-winning drive. They did the 2 point conversion. Controversy, a little bit of controversy in the game, shall we say? I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'll be very honest with you. I only just saw that. I thought that was just an incompletion, and then it rolled into the end zone. Seattle Seahawks tight end picked it up, and the 2 points stood. I was like,
No, so it was
okay.
a fumble that then was recovered in the end zone, with Zach Charbonnet literally just down in the ball as if he was, just as any smart football player would do. And then, yeah, and then obviously gets, ruled as a complete 2-point conversion, which is just insane.
Sometimes we can describe. plays on this thing or we talk about a catch, but like literally this is one you just need to go Google and
Yeah.
if you did not see it, which I would assume everybody who loves football has seen it at this point, but it was very bizarre. But it's also one of those things where and I remember this playing high school football is like they teach you about always fall on the ball, always fall on the ball,
Yeah.
always grab the ball, like blah blah blah, no matter, even play to the end of the whistle,
Yeah.
these things, and look at it's the reason why Seattle won the game. But yeah, it was. I mean, these teams, it would be really. I don't know how it will work in terms of how they do the seeding now, but it would be a great NFC Championship game to see these two
Mm.
teams play again.
We need to see part three. We need a rubber match between
Yeah,
these two.
100%. And it's
yeah,
and I wanted to give a shout out as well to Puka Nakua in this game for the Rams. I mean, 12 receptions, 225 yards, two touchdowns to go along with that as well. I mean, he had an absolute monster game. I think he's had 4 games in a row of 150 plus receiving yards as well.
He's a
Um,
beast.
he is just a beast.
However, he
I
doesn't
mean, the
stay
stuff
off.
off the field we don't need to talk about here,
No,
but he might be a bit of an idiot, but he's also an incredible football player. So,
I
yeah,
saw some tweet. Apparently, he's about to head down the Antonio Brown road. Oh,
yeah,
he
this
no,
is what I hear.
you're not even
I think my
close to
favorite, I
that
think my favorite
yet.
part, other than the actual game itself, was Sean McVay getting asked about it afterwards, retrospectively, and him just being like the very like I really could not care less
yeah.
attitude.
I actually want to commend. I mean, as if you've listened to the show, I'm a big Sean McVay fan. So, but I also liked how he just sort of was like asked about the 2 point conversion. He's sort of like, it was crazy, but that's football, and that's why I've been in this business a long time, and like, and he wasn't complaining about it. He wasn't being a little bit, he wasn't, some coaches definitely take a different trend. The other thing is just two things about this game. It's the first time in the history of the NFL, I believe, that an overtime game has ended on a 2 point conversion in that way, which is really interesting. And
And it's the first time I think a team that was trailing by 16 points in the fourth quarter has gone on to win, um, which is kind of
right, right.
insane.
Great game. I can just say this. On Friday morning, my wife and I got up and we were having coffee, and I put on the 22-minute YouTube highlights, and having forced Erlene to watch Falcons games the last 7 years has not bode well. But man, she was like super into this game, so it's a classic for sure.
I mean,
Um,
we,
anything else? Oh, what you got, Fletch?
I was going to say, me and Mrs. Fletch went away on Thursday night. We went to we had a little like one of the reasons I couldn't do the preview show. We had after all these months of football, one night away for the two of us. Obviously she fell asleep, and I remembered smart to bring my fire stick with the zone on it, so I could still watch the football. And I was like, we were heading off to Wales first thing in the morning, so long trip. So 16 points in the fourth quarter, and was like, this game's done. I'm turning it off. Woke up in the morning a couple of hours later and was and did one of those. Yeah, this is why you never do this. At any point in any game, no matter what the score is in the fourth quarter, you can't say this game is done. Something will happen. You're just gonna have to stick it out, especially when it's two teams like that, man. You just got to stick it out.
Sure, you were right. But also, if it's 3 in the morning, oh, Fletch froze. There he is.
Yeah.
Ah, he's back.
I will keep
Um,
freezing. Like video wise, I will keep freezing because whatever's going on between my camera and my laptop is fucking joke. Um,
Not one for the kids, guys. All right, moving on. But we were warned. We were warned. All right. I think let's pop over to the AFC because there was another big matchup between the Broncos, who were currently had the number one seed in the AFC, and I think still do, against I think the number 3 or 4 seed Jaguars. And there's been a lot of talk is like Trevor Lawrence turned the page. Like, has he finally become that quarterback that he was supposed to be? Blah 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 blah. Or the Jags for real? All this stuff. They're Cohen. The Jags go in and just beat the dog doo doo out of Denver, 34-20. And Trevor Lawrence looked awesome. Like the Jags just looked awesome. And Denver, like their defense, who has been great and really has given a lot of people fits this year, man. They had no answer for
Got lit up.
yeah, they had no answer for Trevor Lawrence and this offense. What do we think? Are we buying this? I mean, like week 16 win over the Broncos in Denver, by the way, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm buying it. I mean, I think the Jags have continuously improved this season. I think they're on a 4 or 5 game winning streak now. They're 11 and
Six.
4.
Six
They're
game win
still
streak at the moment.
not 6 game winning streak. There you go. And they're not even out of the hunt for the 1 seed either, really, with this win against Denver. And if they win their remaining games and some other games go their way, they could potentially still get the 1 seed as well. But as you said, Trevor Lawrence, who I've been critical of, as
yeah.
Ollie will mention, um, he pulled out in this game. I think he had 4 total touchdowns, threw three, ran in for one. I mean, the one he ran in for might have been one of the easiest touchdowns, like zone reads
Yeah.
straight into the end zone I've ever seen. But he had some darts in this game. Parker Washington was awesome in this game as well. It wasn't even Brian Thomas,
Yeah, oh
Parker
yeah.
Washington making plays. And even though Denver, they tried to hang around, RJ Harvey had a beautiful touchdown for them. Um, this wasn't a great Bo Nix game, from any stretch of the imagination, especially late on. It looked like the kind of pressure and the blitzes and simulated pressures that the Jaguars were bringing was kind of disrupting his rhythm as well. And then he threw an absolute hospital pass that got Pat Bryant, sent to the
Yeah.
hospital basically.
Yeah.
Um, but it does make you think that the Jags are for real. And as you said, this Broncos defense is, I mean, they sacked Trevor Lawrence as well a few times, and they have one where he got absolutely blasted, but then he came back and then he threw a beautiful touchdown pass. So he's definitely turned the corner. I think he's got 10 touchdowns in his last 2 games now.
Yeah.
Uh, and this Jags team looks for real, especially Liam Cohen as the head coach.
Yeah. Well, Carl, I know you were cheering on the Jags yesterday for obvious reasons, but what did you think about this performance?
The Jags are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. They are for the last month, they have been the hottest team. Trevor Lawrence is just throwing touchdowns for absolute fun right now. 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, a passer rate of one, I think it was like 124, I think it was that he had, if I'm not mistaken. That's unbelievable for them. Um, but the battle in this was all to do with the turnovers. Denver turned the ball over twice. Jacksonville didn't do it at all. But Denver beat them in every single metric: passing yards, rushing yards, first downs, third down conversion. They beat them in nearly every single metric, but they lost the turnover battle. And when you rush Bo Nix off his spot and make him work hard, he struggles. He always struggles for like two, 3 quarters of the game if any kicks on. And in this game, he just didn't look comfortable. Just did not look comfortable in this game. I'm still saying that Denver's defense is still legit, but they got absolutely torched in this game. And going to Mile High is not easy. It's one of the hardest places to go. When it gets noisy, that place is ridiculous. With the altitude as well, it makes it 10 times worse. So fair play to Jacksonville. Um, they deserve their props. They definitely do. Now I know what a lot of the negative lot will say. Oh yeah, we'll see what they're like in the postseason. Very true. But Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff game before, so it's not like he doesn't know how to win a game in January. So we'll see what he does. But listen, I said everyone was saying that Mike Vrabel will win early head coach of the year candidate. I said Liam Cohen as a dark horse, as an outsider for Jacksonville. If he can get Trevor Lawrence going and get this offense humming, they could be a problem. And they've become a problem this the last month or so.
And the cardiac kids that are the Broncos this season, all these fourth quarter comebacks, just it finally ran out of steam. As you said, I think he threw an interception in the fourth quarter as well. So yeah, long may that continue as someone that does not like the Broncos.
Let me just say this. I'm very interested to see both these teams in the playoffs because it's two quarterbacks that there's still questions. Obviously, I mean, Bo Nix is only his second year, which is fair, but like Lawrence, I'm interested to see when all the pressure's on, like what happens, because that's where you really make your name as a quarterback is
Yeah.
in the playoffs. Fletch, you got something to say?
I was gonna say, as far as Super Bowl contenders go, you've got to see him. I know you say Trevor Lawrence has won a game in January, but this roster hasn't, and this roster is still. I've got to see him do it in January still before I consider them Super Bowl contenders. A very, very good team. Don't get me wrong, but to be Super Cup, but everything's different in January. Everything's different, and will we see, like, will you see the Jags rise to that occasion? Or, we've seen plenty of teams have great regular seasons and then just flop when everything gets different and the playbooks open up a little bit more and everything's a little bit more urgent. I mean, look at last year. I mean, for example, it's particularly on the NFC side, the Lions went 15-2 out in the first round. The Vikings went 14-3 out first time they played in the playoffs. Like, some great regular season teams just can't do it in the playoffs. Not saying they can. I'm just saying I need to see it first before I put my eggs in any of that basket as far as the Super Bowl goes.
Agreed. Well, it'll be interesting to see. And if I've read this correctly, there's still six teams in the AFC that still have a mathematical chance of getting the number one seed, if I read that correctly. So it'll be quite interesting. Let's pop back to the NFC. And Fletch, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. The Bears on a Saturday, there was two Saturday games over the weekend. And the second one was the Bears beating the Packers in Chicago, 22-16. This was a big statement game for the Bears. I believe they came back in this game. Unfortunately, it was really late here, so I just more read about it. But I believe they scored 19 points in the second half to come back and win this one. Uh, eh, are we buying Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, guys?
I'll
I
let
think
Fletch go for that.
I think you absolutely have to. Again, there's a difference to doing it in the playoffs and all that sort of stuff, but you absolutely have to at this point because even on days where, I mean, there was a little while where you thought Caleb
We're
Williams
losing you, Fletch.
wasn't at his most consistent. You had,
Fletch, we can't hear you.
I pass on to Tom then.
No,
Okay,
no, you're back. You're back now.
you're
We can
back now,
hear
I
you.
think.
Yeah, you were back now.
All right, I want to say you absolutely have to because I mean, even when Caleb Williams was not at his most consistent throughout the season, he went through a patch where he was, I think, for me, was looking a little bit worse each game. They were still getting wins. They were still able to pull it through because DeAndre Swift was stepping up. Other players were stepping up. The defense has been stepping up. I think this has been an all-round effort. Again, bit different when you get to the playoffs. You want, well, I don't personally want to see them be successful in the playoffs. But if you want to make a fair judgment on them, you've got to see them do it in the playoffs. I'll stick to the same thing I said about the Jags that I'll say about the Bears. You've got to see them do it in the playoffs first. But yeah, absolutely have to. This offense is performing at such a high level. The defense is performing at such a high level. And it's such an all round, well put together game that I didn't see the actual game itself
I did.
because college football playoffs was on, and I was kind of watching that instead. Um, so I kind of caught up with this the next day, and it was 16 points in the second half, and then they obviously the six in overtime.
Chapman, you already know that I'm a psycho that stayed up to watch this game. But yeah, as you say, a 16-9 to it looked like the Packers were going to win this game, if not for, Romeo Dobbs, fumbling the ball on it's an onside kick, which you have to declare anyway.
Right.
The Bears get it back. They go down the field. Caleb Williams, beautiful touchdown pass. And then it just felt like the momentum was with the Bears at that point. Goes to overtime, and then he just unfurls an absolute beauty to DJ Moore for the game-winning touchdown after they'd stopped the Packers. So it just seemed like it was, Caleb Williams' sort of like breakout game. I mean, he's had a very consistent season, but to do that against defense like the Packers that are really good. And fair play to the Packers for hanging around in it as well, because Jordan Love goes out in this game with a concussion. Malik Willis comes in. He actually plays a really, really good game for them. But the Bears are able to come back and get the win. And Ben Johnson's been a revelation. I mean, to me, obviously, I know Mike Vrabel's doing incredible things with Drake May as as Carl will know. But to me, I think Ben Johnson like might be coach of the year, just the way that he's turned this, Bears team that was what 5-12 last year, and they're now what 11-4. So yeah,
Really nice.
incredible.
Carl, do you got any thoughts on Bears Packers?
I'm buying into what Ben Johnson is actually doing. I think what he has done to galvanize the team has been phenomenal. However, Caleb Williams only wants to turn up when it's the fourth quarter. He's had six fourth quarter comebacks so far this season. Eventually, that magic is going to run out. You cannot, under any circumstances, have no points in the first quarter, none in the second, only kick a field goal in the third, but then you pull the magic horseshoe out of your backside and then go out and do the great escape. That won't wash. That won't cut it in the postseason. You've got to score through all four quarters. We got any chance of progressing. You really do. If you rely on the running game, fine, but just rely on the run. It's Caleb just stresses me out because he's got the talent, he's got the potential, but it only happens in spurts. I mean, it's happening at the correct time, but still, it. I don't know. There's something about Caleb I just don't like about his play, and I don't know why. It's as if he has to go into Superman mode in the fourth quarter to actually bail the team out. Sometimes your fans don't want to see heart attack football every blimmin' week.
Well,
Just
I think some of that is
You can't tell me you can't tell me that throw to DJ Moore was not good though. Come
DJ
on,
Moore was
that
very
that was a
good.
beauty.
They didn't have their. I think they didn't have. Oh, I could say they didn't have Luther Burden, and they didn't have Frankie.
Romeo Dobbs
Oh,
either. No, not
Dunze.
Romeo Dobbs.
Dunze.
Roma
So they
Dunze.
didn't have
Yeah,
their
Roma
two main
Dunze. Yeah.
receivers there either. So DJ Moore had to step up, but obviously DJ Moore is a former number one receiver for Carolina. We know what he's capable of. But he's never had the chance to show it because he's been packed out. So this was the game they needed to rely on. They did, and also that throw to the end zone to Jade Walker. Good God, that was
Mm.
that. Now that was a throw. I was like, yeah, that's respect. That's respect. That's a great throw and a great catch by Walker as well.
Hopefully, Ollie listens to this segment, shall
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'll say about the Bears is also to remember, Carl, to you were saying about the comebacks and whatever. I mean, this is a young team. They're still trying to really figure things out. And Fletch, you were saying, we don't know what these players are going to be in the playoffs, but like I think part of it is just getting there too at the first time. I remember, a young Matt Ryan for his first few seasons, like kept getting in the playoffs and getting knocked out like time after time. It was like, oh, can he win a play? And it's like these narratives, yeah, they do shape themselves after time. But I think even just getting to that place, I mean, the Packers have owned you for so many years under Aaron Rodgers and even in somewhat in the Jordan Love era. So it's a big win to beat your rival, especially your rival. I mean, unfortunately, they did have a catastrophic loss on their defense last game, but like I mean, this team is still in the hunt. So anyway, I get what you're saying, but I still think those I'd rather be winning than not.
Oh no,
I'd rather be winning than
100%.
not. But I think it's a fair comeback. What were you gonna say, Fletch? Sorry.
I would say that 100%. You're absolutely right. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is winning.
Yeah.
And you can, yeah, I do say you've got to get to the playoffs for us to call you a Super Bowl. But you're absolutely right. You've got to get to the playoffs first, and you can't do that by losing. So absolutely, and we can only go off what we've seen, and so far what we've seen has been, in my opinion, very, very, very good football.
Yeah. Fletch, do you mind if we go ahead and talk about your game now? Because it,
Oh, I,
it
I
feels
mind.
like what's
I'm,
yes, okay.
I
Would you
mind.
would you be up for chatting about it a little bit or
Not really, but I'll do it. That
it's good
was
content?
it. It probably
Well,
will be. It probably will be good. That was
Hold on, really quick. We're talking about the Steelers who defeated the Lions
I had to talk about it the other week, Fletch. Come on, we got to
in
suck it up.
Detroit, 29 to 24 on what was a very another ending that was quite rare and confusing in terms of a touchdown scored, but it is not counted because there's a OPI on the play at the end. But anyway, but I would say that the Steelers, for the most part in this game, did play better than your Lions, which
oh,
was
absolutely.
quite odd. Um,
Absolutely. In every
yeah.
single aspect of the game, the defense was absolutely hoof-wankingly terrible. In every shade of it, the Legion of Whom is unacceptable at this point. I do not care. Um, I don't know who we've got out there. I mean, the D line has been fine, but other than
I was
that,
going to say,
in
Aiden
defensive
Hutchinson got what, two
backs,
sacks in this game.
um, and even Mohammed has been fantastic. Tyleik Williams has been decent, and we've had a couple of other people rotating in on the left hand side, and they've been fine. Alex Anzalone been great to keep him, but it's like it was shambolic. They can't run defend for Nish. They can't. I mean, last season, one of the good things that we did have on the defense was somehow we managed to keep Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch in all year. Losing them two has been the biggest possible, I think, potential loss out of the lot because there is no real safety net in the backfield and you're getting torched all the time. That's if um the team that you're playing, you stop allowing them to run and do whatever they want on the ground. Offensively, again, I've said a billion times this year that offensive line is horrendous. Um, something I was looking at the other day was like you keep leaving the back end on bootlegs and on outside runs. You're just leaving the back end edge unguarded, and I'm like, why are we doing that? We haven't got the offensive line is not athletic enough to allow those kind of things to happen. Um, And it again means that Jameer Gibbs could not get going on the ground whatsoever. I think for the first half he had -3 yards. Uh, on the game, I think he had 5 yards
I think he
overall.
had nine in
Five.
total, yeah.
That might be from scrimmage though as well, because I know he got. I'm sure he got some in the air as well. But Jameer Gibbs couldn't get going. Um, a couple of players tried stepping up when needed, but we just couldn't get it done on offense or on defense. It was horrible until the fourth quarter comeback. Obviously the game ended. That final play, it is what it is. I mean, the offensive PI call against Tesla 2 plays earlier when Amon-Ra punched it in is one of the worst calls I've seen in the history of the game. Tesla gets grabbed and pushed into Ramsey, and that's an offensive PI. Have a day off, my friends. Have a day off. I've not tried my hardest not to come on here and complain about refs and do all that sort of stuff, but that was a horrific call. A horrific call.
What about the Steelers in this one? They
Do you want me to talk on the Steelers, Fletch?
yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, so the Steelers, as Fletch said, the run game was going
Yeah,
for this
Warren was
team. I mean,
great.
Jalen Warren scored two 45-yard rushing touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And they controlled the majority of this game by being able to keep the ball. I mean, in the third quarter, I think they had the ball for like 10 minutes. Um, and yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a pretty decent game as well. He's really impressed me this season for someone that's 41 and everyone thought he was, washed coming off, his time with the Jets. He's commanded this offense really well, and made the plays when they needed to. Obviously, I know they've been through like the losing run and everything, but yet and again another season. I know Ollie's going to hate to hear this. That the Steelers and Mike Tomlin are going to have a winning record for like the 17th straight season.
This marks the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers as an organization have had a 500 or better campaign now 22 seasons straight.
It's getting boring now.
And
19
he's
in a row
and
with the
and he's
Tomlin.
had what? He's had 17 of them or
19.
something.
This is
19. There you
19 of
19.
go.
them.
And
Tomlin now
Um,
has go ahead
last night was his 200th career win,
at
192
53.
regular season.
Yeah.
192 regular season, 8 in the postseason. That's his 200th career win.
Yeah, but they just ran all over the Lions really. As Fletch said, the run defense just couldn't stop them. And even though the Lions tried to keep in, touching distance, when Jalen Warren went in for that touchdown, it seemed like it would be too little, too late, unfortunately.
Well, uh, yeah, we're really sorry, because that pretty much puts a death nail in the coffin of the Detroit season.
I mean,
But
it's the entire season's been unacceptable. We don't deserve to be in the playoffs in any way, shape, or form. Like I've said this multiple times, we don't deserve it. We have not been good enough. You've got to earn your way into the playoffs.
mm,
Um, and look, I've been a fan of this team for long enough to have seen very, very, very dark days for a very, very, very long time. Um, so like this is not as close to the worst it gets. Like it's frustrating. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I've had way way worse days, way worse seasons. Where look, 2 months ago I was already looking forward to the draft. So I'll take it. I'll take it any
It's
day of the
back
week.
to it's back to back years now that your secondary and your defense has been as caught the injury bug. Is that something now to do? Do you not think you need to be looking at different conditioning coaches in
I
the
think.
off season?
I mean, I would say so. I believe that there's
Every team
been.
has injuries though, Carl. I don't think it's just like Detroit. Like, look at the other injuries across the league. Like, it's not just specific to, like, if that's the case, then fire all the position coaches for the team with loads of major injuries.
I'm
I mean,
aware, but it also seems to be like the same people going down.
I mean,
That's the gripe with Detroit.
last year it was all the same people. This year it seems a bit more spread out. I mean, it's
Mm,
DBs. It's all the DBs. I don't think we've got anyone
mm,
left at DB. Chapman, I don't know if you fancy flying out. I think we can play in the next last couple of games together at DB if you want.
mm.
Um. So, but it's the offensive injuries as
Good
well. I
memory,
think that
Fletch, by the way.
um. It's the offense that's I think been a big problem as well. It's the injuries on the O line. It's the injuries to Sam Laporta. It's the injury to um there's been a couple of obviously offensive injuries that have been quite key, to be fair, in taking it down. I don't know if it's a strength and conditioning thing. I don't know if it's someone needs to have a good hard look in the mirror of the way certain practices are going. And we all know he likes to run them hard in preseason. Um, so I don't know. It's
I
that's
was
not
going
for
to
me
say
to
one
decide.
bright spot for the Lions, at least Fletch, is Isaac Tesler. What a pick! I mean,
Mm.
every time the guy touches the ball, it seems like he's scoring some ridiculous touchdown, like the one that he had between two defenders and still managed to hold on to the ball. So, at least you got that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, look, he's going to be great, and I cannot wait because I said to Chapman the other day, funnily enough, um, once him and Goff truly get on, I think we've not had all year. Once Sam Laporta goes out, who do you go to on third down when I'm on Rice
Mm.
Brown's covered? J-Mo is not your third down guy. Jameer Gibbs is not your third down guy. He's going to be your slightly bigger body, going to go up into contested coverage and pull it down. He's going to be your third down, chips against the wall, red zone kind of guy. Um, can't wait to see what comes of that going
And
forward.
I've just got one more thing on the Steelers, Chapman, in terms of like because the Steelers got ran all over by the Bills, right, a few weeks ago. Most yards they've given up at Extra Stadium. They held the Lions, in check on the ground. As Fletch said, only 5 yards for Jameer Gibbs, not a lot more for Montgomery. So that was definitely a bright spot for them, especially their rookie Derek Harmon. He had another excellent game for them as a run stopper. So that's something for the Steelers to look at moving forward as well.
Not to mention the fact they had no TJ Watt in the line, but they did have no Herbig either. That's two of
Yeah,
their main pass rushers out, and yet they held the defense.
Alex Highsmith was the guy.
Yeah, Highsmith was the guy. Kyle Duggar, he got a sack and a tackle for loss as well. Cam Hayward as well. We know what Cam Hayward is capable of. So yeah, I mean holding Detroit running game to what was it, 15 yards?
Yeah, it's
That's
impressive.
that's really impressive.
Yeah,
Really impressive.
especially Jameer Gibbs and
Hmm.
Montgomery.
Mm.
Guys, we've talked about this game a lot,
Yeah.
so let's move on. But let's now that we thank you, Fletch. Tough season, but I still think there's a bright future for the talent
Oh
that's
yeah.
on your team. Carl, let's move to you. The Pats beat the Ravens last night, Sunday Night Football. 28-24. I believe Drake May led the team back on a comeback game. Continues to just take this team to new heights. And you guys, I know the winning streak was broken last week, but you guys are sitting at what 12-3 now. You definitely have a shot at the one seed. I, where are you guys right now division wise? Are the Bills still in the mix?
We are one game ahead of the Bills right
Right.
now,
Okay.
going into the Jets. We play the Jets next Sunday. The Bills have the Eagles at home, so we're hoping Philadelphia does us a favor, but we never know. Um, yeah, to say this was a nerve-wracking game, trying to watch this from start to finish is an absolute understatement. Um, Trayvon Henderson goes down with a concussion in the second quarter,
Killing tons of people's fantasy.
completely killed everyone's fantasy playoff
Thank
hopes for
you.
championship. Sorry, mate. So yeah, that bang goes your running game on that one. Just poor. It Drake May had to carry the game on his shoulders, and we needed to see this now in the fourth quarter. Now we were down by 11. What are you gonna do? He put the team on his back, and he just diced up the Ravens secondary with absolute ease. The bomb he threw to Kyle Williams was absolutely phenomenal. I love Kyle Williams. I wanted him coming out of the draft anyway. The defense running game was pretty shambolic. Derrick Henry had his way with his 128 yards, average of 7 yards a carry. That is fucking atrocious. Sorry for the swear. On our defense. We had a number of injuries that went down as well. Chris Tonga went out. We also had Keishon Butte, who also went out as well. But that was all. So while Fletch has to whinge and moan about the refs, I will also whinge and moan about the refs. How the hell that was not pass interference when Butte had that 50-yard catch, I absolutely do not know. That corner was all over Butte. And to make matters worse, he goes down with a concussion as well. And apparently it goes incomplete. I'm like, I don't whinge at the refs. I just want consistency. Be consistent. And they were consistently horrible in this game, to be fair. But Dre got the job done, and we move forward. That Bills loss, and the thing was though from last week against Buffalo, I'm glad now I look back at it when we lost to them because we needed a strong dose of reality saying, okay, you're a rebuilding team. You have got an easy schedule. The minute you get punched, what are you going to respond back with? That was the response I wanted. But when we were down 11, I thought, that's it, game over. We're not coming back at M&T Bank Stadium, no chance. But Drake May, wow, just he was brilliant in that. He was better in the second half than he was in the first. The first half was so ropey. He threw a bad interception. He just chucked the ball out, mate. We were guaranteed points anyway on that drive, and I just got no idea on that. I think we lost. I think Drake lost to 6 points in that game. We should have had the game one a lot quicker, but it is what it is. We done well. Um,
Also, his
Hold on.
first ever 300-yard passing game, which I'm
Yeah, I
guessing
think
Chapman was going
Had
to
that
move.
50
no,
yard,
I
had
actually,
that 50-yard catch not got mitigated by a incompletion, he would have had first 300 yard game. He'd had a first 400-yard game. When did Josh Allen have his first 400-yard game?
I just have to say, what I find interesting, Carl, is that we've just listened to you praise Drake May for the exact same thing you just nailed his compatriot Caleb Williams for, which was sucking in the first half and then coming back and being good in the second half.
That
But
was Drake's
I
first
can't
time.
help
That was
but say
Drake's
that.
first time.
That's so. But
Drake's
I would
first
also
time.
say this. I'm really appreciative as the host of this podcast that I now have everyone apologizing before they start complaining about refs because they know how much I hate it when people do that, and then second apologizing after they cuss. So I feel like I'm making a difference in this world. Thank you very much. No, look, I absolutely agree, Carl. I think the loss to the Bills, while you don't want to lose, but I think like getting punched in the face and going, all right, what are we? And then coming back and like, look, I don't think this Baltimore team is a world beater. And Lamar Jackson goes out, but I mean, they still aren't. They're not slouches, and you could have gone into Baltimore and easily lost this game by a field goal or something like that, especially down 11, but to claw back and come back. Look, man, I hate to say it. I am impressed by Drake May, even though I was waiting for I did stay up a little bit to watch the beginning of this game, and I had to watch like what felt like the the Trump propaganda machine for Drake May. I just say that as a joke, but like it was like an hour long commercial for Drake May in the pregame VC show. But anyway, no, but fair enough. He's a fun story with his brothers and all that stuff. So anyway, um,
Let me hit on the Ravens side of it quick.
you should, Tom. Let me
Because
shut up.
it no, it's I mean, there's not too much to touch on. Obviously, Lamar Jackson goes out in the game. That's a big point in the game. But Snoop Huntley came in and did pretty admirable job. And then he just handed the ball off to Derrick Henry. But my question to you, Chapman, and you, Carl, is: do you think that the Ravens and John Harbaugh should part ways this
Great
offseason?
question.
The way that it's gone, the way that towards the end of this game, what the last three drives, they don't
That's a
give Derrick Henry
cardinal
the
sin.
ball, and
That's a
they can use
cardinal
the
sin.
excuse. They can use the excuse of, oh, we're rotating backs, we're putting Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell had like 13 total yards like in the game. So, you're not giving your best player on the field the ball to run out the game. So I'd just be interested to know your thoughts
I
on that, really.
personally think that if John Harbaugh does leave Baltimore, he gets another job within 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Mm.
He
that's the
he
thing.
he is a very, very good head. He's a very good head coach. I've always respected John Harbaugh. Um, but I
It's these blown leads though, man. Like I know
But
obviously you're saying
it's a
that they
little
came
bit.
back and stuff, but
Look, it's a little bit of like there's only been a couple of times where you've had somebody leave a team who did very, very well, maybe didn't make it to the mountaintop, though Harbaugh has, obviously. Um, I'm thinking of Andy Reid in the Eagles. Like it just
yeah.
like he just ran, but like it doesn't feel like Harbaugh's done that because it was like I mean they're always like pretty good. Same thing with Tomlin. It's like they're always pretty good, but it was like yeah, sometimes things just get stale and you do need to change. So I don't know. I mean, the other thing is I got to be honest with you. I've been thinking I've been a big Lamar fan. Like I love, and I think Carl, I know you're a Lamar fan if I'm not mistaken, or
I
at least
never
I
said
think
that, but carry on.
no. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I think, but you know what? I'm
It's not
thinking
so
of
much of a
Ollie.
fan. It's just I respected when Michael Vick was around. Michael Vick was phenomenal. Lamar Jackson has been very good, but my co-host Kieran hates Lamar Jackson because if you take away his athleticism, if you take away his running ability, he is an average quarterback when he's throwing the ball.
Disagree.
Occasionally, I mean, I'd have a little bit of an
Disagree.
issue with that at
Yeah,
points, but
43 touchdowns to 4 picks
yeah.
says otherwise last season. So when he's
But
healthy, he's incredible.
my thing is his availability, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
into. And it's like, and also, his playoff record is still, we still haven't got, so, but, you can say the same thing about Josh Allen, but he doesn't get hit as much either. So I don't know. Does something need to change? Yes. And maybe I don't know what it is. But maybe there is something
It's
that
just
needs to
because there's a
change.
correlation. Because I've just seen a lot of Ravens fans saying that they've just blown so many leads, especially at home as well.
Yeah.
They've lost more home games this season, like in
Yeah.
prime time, than in 17 years before, than the previous
Right.
17 like seasons. So it's just like I don't know if it's just recency bias of them just thinking this and that and whatever, but it's just an interesting point to bring up.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, let me just go through so just because we've hit on all the top four seeds. So here's where we are with the AFC playoff. The top four seeds, right as where we stand, it's the Broncos still at number one, 12-3. We got the Patriots number two, 12-3, Jags 11-4, and the Steelers 9-6. Um, you guys got the Jets. I think does Denver have, who do they have next? They got
They're playing
the
the Chiefs.
Chiefs, which is going to be a win. And then they have the Chargers. So that Chargers game, and the Chargers are actually sitting in that 5 seed. So, I mean, that
Mm.
is going to be a big game in week 18. Who do you end the season with, Carl?
Dolphins at home.
Dolphins. Okay, well, that's a very winnable game for you. So, um, yeah, I mean, it could be really interesting where I bet they flex that. They've got to flex that game to late in the day, that Chargers.
They will do.
Chargers.
They,
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
they will
So,
do. I think it's the Chargers were only one game back off Denver. I remember they have beaten them
mhm.
already once already. So I think the Chargers' next game is against the Texans. If they win that game, then that game at Mile High in Week 18 becomes that's for all the marbles. Denver could
Yeah,
find themselves for being the number one seed to a wild card, all in the space of a week. That's
which is correct.
crazy.
Same thing with the Rams. I mean, the Rams now are the five
Same with the
seed.
Rams,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
I mean,
NFL is crazy. Go ahead.
that
Sorry.
was the Lions Vikings last season, if you remember. Both teams were 14
Mm.
and 2 going into the last game of the season against each other, and one was going to be the number one seed in the NFC, the next one was going to be a wild card. And look, you say what you want about the NFL, those schedules sometimes they work out for those really, really nice games at the end of the year. There are some tasty ones. There are always some tasty ones.
There is. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm just logging back into something. Um, all right. What I'm going to do now, let me see. Oh, there's one other game I kind of want to discuss. We don't need to spend a ton of time on it. And then we'll just kind of go through. I'll hit all the other games that were sort of inconsequential. But the other game that had playoff seeding was the Tampa Bay Bucks lose to the Carolina Panthers 23-20. It wasn't an amazing game to watch, but you saw a little bit out of Young once again. He did just enough to get his team the win. And Baker Mayfield in this Bucks offense is just stale at this point. I mean, they've got everybody back: Irving, Mike Evans, Godwin, and Buka, and they just still seem like they
Something
can't
just isn't right
score. Yeah, it just
for the
feels like
Bucks.
it's off.
It just feels like it just feels like there's some discourse within the organization maybe as well, with the way that the defense is played like down the stretch as well. It's capitulated. Todd Bowles is known for having, this great defensive plan, and they've just been blown away. I mean, they weren't blown away by the Panthers in this game, but in previous games they've been, absolutely dissected. So it seems like it's, not going well for them, but they still have a chance if they win their next game and the Panthers win their next game. It's still going to come down to, week 18 rematch between those two for the division. So despite how bad, they've lost 6 of 7, despite how bad they've been, they still have a chance to somehow get into the playoffs.
And weirdly enough, I would just say, just in defense of this division, just is uh it's not like captivating like the NFC North or the AFC West in any shape or form because the quarterbacks, but it's like there's a lot of talent in this division, to be honest with you. And there's 3 players that are up for Rookie of the Year in terms of offense, all within this division. And I would just say McMillan looked awesome yesterday. There's a really fun touchdown that Young played. And just talking about Bryce Young really quick, like, because they were gonna have to. I mean, I'm assuming they're just gonna tag him probably for next year. You're not gonna maybe give him a big contract, or if you can figure out some sort of
They've
3 year.
exercised the fifth year option though, so
Right.
they clearly believe in him
Yeah,
some at least.
you can do something, and like it's
Yeah.
weird because Carl, I don't know if I'm sure you probably didn't watch much of this game, but like he does just enough where you're like, okay, like you can work with and he's competent. He's a smart Alabama quarter, you know what I mean? And like in the right system, I mean, he's not a world beater. You maybe can depend on him to get you down to a field goal drive, but like putting an 11-point deficit, say a la Drake May, probably not happening with this guy. But
That being said, he has the most fourth quarter comebacks
combats,
since he's
that's
been in
fair.
the
That is
league,
fair.
which is
Yeah.
Well, I'll
crazy.
put my foot in my mouth now, guys. But he is in the NFC South, so let's all calm down. And like half of those are against, and like his biggest games will all have been against the Falcons. So let's all calm down. Carl, you got any points on him? Sorry, I was trying to tee you up.
No, Bryce Young has actually improved as the season's gone on. That 4-1 start really didn't do him any favors. We all thought the Panthers were going to completely suck at that point, but they've rallied really, really well. And the Buccaneers, well, I think they've been drinking too much rum over the last few weeks because they're just completely foldering all over the place here. That interception of Baker Mayfield threw, that was the microcosm of the Buccaneers season. Really not good at all. You can also tell as well, Mike Evans is he only returned 2 weeks ago, but he looks pissed off. He looks pissed off already, and he's meant to be a free agent going into 2026 as well. But Carolina, they've got some really good building blocks there. They've got 2 good backs in Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. Ted McMillan, he is in the conversation for offensive rookie of the year. 73 yards, one touchdown. Really, really good performance on him. And their defense is not to be sniffed at. They've got some really good players on
They
Shout out
defense.
do.
Derek Brown, man. I
Derek
mean,
Brown's a
the guy's
monster.
He's
playing
the
at like an
best.
all-pro
Auburn,
level. Like on, it's crazy.
War Eagle Derek Brown. Yeah, I was so jealous we didn't get him that year.
Three solo tackles, one sack, and a tackle for loss.
Yeah,
He was just a nightmare to deal with. JC Horn as well. I've always
Oh,
respected him as a
he's a
core,
yeah, he's really
respected him
good.
great
as a
corner.
corner. And they got yeah, the Panthers head coach really has really turned the corner now, and I think Carolina are now in a really good spot. I think it's going to be a case of if they do win the division, are they going to go one and done? It looks more than likely, but to be honest, no one was expecting Carolina to even win the division. So what they do now is actually playing with house money if they do end up finishing it off. But
Right.
the Bucks, they if they don't win this division, they are firing Todd Bowles
Oh,
and the
100%.
OC out of
Yeah,
their cannon, out of their pirate ship, out of their
100%. Yeah.
cannon.
Yeah, I love that out of the cannons that Raymond James thing.
yeah. Absolutely. And what you were saying about well, that Panthers team is frisky, man. And I will
Mm.
say, if they're the fourth seed, they would
And
play
we've been talking about a
they
team
would
that
they
beat
play
the
would
Rams.
they play the sixth seed? Is that who they
No, they
play?
play the fifth seed, so
They
that'll be
play
the
the
Rams.
it'd be the Rams.
The problem also of that game, though, that was windy, it was rainy, it was horrible
But
because
it's
it's
still going
not
to
Los
be in
Angeles conditions. So
yeah, but it's still going to be in Carolina. It's going to be a home game for them if they win
it
the
will
division.
be, it will be, but they just hope to have better weather conditions than
Yeah, we'll
last
see.
time.
Anyway. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna do two tiers. There's the like sucky and then there's like the super sucky. So we're gonna go sucky first and then we'll do the super sucky. So I'm just gonna read these scores out and then we can we can jump around whatever you want. So the sort of sucky was the Bills played with their food and only beat the Browns 23-20. Garrett didn't break the sack record. I don't like Josh Allen kind of got
Really
hurt.
unfortunate injury for
Yeah,
Quinshon Judkins as well. That was just a
yeah,
That
bummer
that
was
to
was
talk
awful.
about.
horrible.
And
That
That was
was
obviously,
awful.
horrible.
Ollie talked
The
about that. He broke, I think he
Yeah,
broke his ankle and his fibula. Like that was awful to see.
yeah.
there was
Hate
there
that for him.
was there was some stuff around the Garrett sack record though, because there was a sack in which Mason Graham got there first and brought
You got a half
uh,
sack.
yeah, but it wasn't
He got turned to a
until
half
it was
sack, yeah.
later added by
Mm.
manually to be a half sack. I just remember seeing the tweet. All I remember from that point is obviously it came up on Red Zone, um, and then looking on Twitter and seeing a certain Browns fan that we know going Mason, no, no,
And I would
no,
just
no,
say
no.
James Cook is an unbelievable running
Awesome.
back. I mean, he's incredible. Yeah, there's no words to describe him. I know, obviously, the way that Jonathan Taylor's played this year is great, but I think he's ahead of him now in terms of rushing yards. Obviously, I know the Colts haven't played this week, but they're playing tonight. But yeah, he's been a revelation, especially a guy that had a contract dispute with the Bills in the offseason as well. I mean, he's got an extension, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give him more of a payday because he's just dominant.
Yeah, he was awesome in this game, and I've had him in fantasy on two different teams, which I'm in the hunt for a championship, and I love it. All right, the another sucky game was the Saints beat the living daylights out of the Jets, 29-6. Their defense just destroyed the Jets. I don't want to talk much about the Saints except for the uniforms they wore yesterday were literally one of the they looked like they were running around and puke. I don't even know what that was. And look, I'm a Saints hater, so take it for what it's worth, but it was awful. But I will say this. Shuck seems to have it, and I hate that for them because they might not need a quarterback next year, and they can use their first round pick for some stud defense or player or some offensive weapon or who knows what they need. Actually, they're probably going to need
Shout
some
out
D line.
Taysom Hill as well. I mean, I think he's the only player in what NFL history to have 1,000 receiving yards, 1,000 rushing yards, and 1,000 passing
Passing yards.
yards as well.
Taysom Hill can also get in that same rocket ship to the moon that the Titans Chiefs game is in, if you ask me. But yes, congratulations, Taysom Hill. Yeah, Sean Payton made you a career. Uh, anyway, the Jets suck, Carl. They're terrible. Is there any chance that Glenn gets fired this year? What are your
Aaron
sources
Glenn.
saying? Yeah,
I think he
I don't.
might.
I think he might, and I don't want to say this disrespectfully,
But
but I think the Jets have got our version of Gerard Mayo.
hmm,
I don't think. I don't think it's and when you're in, and of all the franchises, it's a real problematic one. It's New York City.
yeah.
You've got to be on your head on your swivel when it comes to the media in New York. Um, but the Jets are just a mess right now. They're
And the
so
interception, what do you call it? The interception streak
Are
lives
they?
on. They
It leaves
still don't have
on.
an interception.
their last interception was not even in the United States of America. That is,
I feel bad for the Jets, and I also feel bad for Aaron Glenn because I mean, in all cases, point is like
I
he's a
think they set
great
him up to
football guy,
fail, honestly.
but like I just I don't know, but like this is bad, like it's
No,
real bad.
the last INT was in the US. You're thinking about the last like proper turnover, and that was when because that was a fumble recovery when it was in London. Um, the INT was, but I don't think they fire Aaron Glenn. I think I've start firing Steve Wilkes
Oh, they've already done that. Yeah,
was
yeah.
no, I would say firing Steve Wilkes was enough to say, listen, like we are where we're at and was in the season. I
Mm,
don't think anyone was ever under the illusion that this was going to be anything other than a bit of a dumpster fire of a season. I know it's firing Steve Wilkes was a bit of a listen. I'm doing something to try and make it right. He'll be fine. He will still be the New York Jets head coach going into next season, unless something ridiculous happens. But I don't see him firing Aaron Glenn after 1 year yet.
yeah.
Not when the expectation was so low anyway for the first year.
Well, the Saints win, which means they're not going to get the first pick. So yay! All right, moving on.
No, no,
Raiders
no, no,
lose.
no, no, no. Sorry, I'm sorry, Chapman. We do have to give one more shout out to Charlie Smith again.
Oh, yes.
After
yes.
signing his 3 year contract with the Saints, he was 5 of 6, hit a couple of extra points. The only one he missed was a 61 yarder to seal out the half. And another game ball for Charlie. So we have to be mentioning Charlie Smith when
Well,
he's
let's mention him at the beginning versus the end.
Yeah.
That would be better. Way to go, Charlie. Making Ireland proud. I'm actually rooting for him. Don't worry, I am. Raiders get the Texans squeak by the Raiders 23-21. Uh, CJ Stroud. This Texas team was like on fire, and then I I don't know.
I was just going to say, fair play to the Raiders for hanging around in this game. You know, they've been a dumpster fire this season, but this was the sort of game that we thought we were going to get from them all season. They'd kind of be a bit of a
Yeah,
scrappy team, but they would lose a bunch of games. But you know, that hasn't been the case. But this game, yeah, Ashton Genty, monster game in this one. He had 2 touchdowns. Kind of another breakout game for him. So that was probably the only, and then yeah, the Texans managed to scrape by with a win.
yeah. The Texans, I think, are currently in the 5 spot, if I'm not mistaken, or are
I
they
Seventh
think
spot.
so.
7 spot?
Seventh.
Ooh, they've moved down. Well, talking about coaches really quick, let's just do a quick round. Should the Raiders move on from Pete Carroll at the end of this year?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't think it's all his fault. I don't think there's
No,
a
it's
lot of
not.
talent on that roster, to be honest. And I think they didn't really set him up in the best of ways,
I,
but I just
I,
don't think he's going to be there for the next iteration of the Raiders.
I think they had a 3 year plan with him. I think it was like build on this year, maybe not make next year's playoff, and then see where you can get. But it's not happening. And I think you just gotta pull the plug and start with somebody young and new and get a quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't see any other just sucky. Oh, well, okay. Chargers, Cowboys. The Chargers win 34-17. Um, Weird game. I only saw like parts of this thing, but it was a good game for Herbert. I know that. I think he had
yeah.
like 3 touchdowns in the first half. Um, McConkey had a little bit of a day. Did Dak go out of this game? Did that happen? Or did I make that up? Yes, he did. He did go out of the game
He did, and he
for
was actually having a monster game before he went out as well. It's
yeah.
just the Chargers, they just took control of this game really. from well they were I think they were trailing 10-7, but after that they just outscored them by like 20, and then
Yeah,
they're up, and that's what it is what it is.
it is what it is. Anybody want to talk Chargers Cowboys?
I think the only
I mean,
thing that I was
Justin
gonna,
Herbert, impressive performance, to be fair, so I'll give him that.
I think
He's a very good quarterback.
only thing I was gonna mention was the Eagles win on Saturday meant that the Cowboys were eliminated from playoff contention before the game even
Right.
started. So
Yeah, that's
I
quite.
don't know if that changed anything for them going into the game, but they'd
Mm,
all obviously, well, I don't know if they weren't expecting the Eagles to beat the Commanders the night before. If they weren't expecting that, then you've got questions to ask anyway. But they would have been hoping to have gone into it with some sort of potentially a fighting chance of
right.
getting into the playoffs, and now that's gone. So I don't know if that changed anything.
But this was in Dallas, and I think Jerry always expects his teams to show up and
Another
play the
lost season
star.
for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oh dear,
All
Willow,
right.
leave me violin.
Um, here's the sucky suck in the order of the suckiest to the least suckiest.
Is
So
this is this the phrasing we want to use? I've been wondering this for about 10, 20 minutes. Is this the phrasing we're going with?
Yeah, but Fletch, you missed Carl saying all out booty. So yeah.
That's the name of the receiver. You
I
can't.
know, but still, man, come on, you can't.
Fletch, I'm happy. I love branding. I'm happy to brand it. Whatever if you've got a better this is a team
I
thing.
haven't. And now
Well,
where
then
my
you
head's
gotta
at with
bring
it.
you gotta bring ideas to the table. You
The
can't just give
worst of the
notes.
worst games.
Um, yeah, you're gonna have to give me a minute on this one because anything I want to respond to that already had the name Sucky Suck is not appropriate for anything that we would want going forward.
All right. Well, this is the toilet bowl of week 16, and
Yeah,
I'm going to start in order.
there you go. Nice.
Uh, and I am putting my personal touch on this entertaining. There's 4 games left. The number one of the sucky, not the suckiest, but like the one that was the best of the suckiest was the Falcons Cardinals because at least it was entertaining, 26-19. The next game would be the Bengals beating the Dolphins 45-21, which was a travesty.
Shout out
Then,
Chase Brown for helping me win my fantasy matchup.
yeah. And then these 2 games, I literally I'd rather just put hot coals into my eyes than have to watch these games, which was the Chiefs losing to the Titans 9-26 with a third string quarterback, and then the Vikings somehow beating the Giants 16-13 without JJ McCarthy in the end. It was, I mean, these games just horrible,
Oh yeah,
horrible.
they were terrible, and I would just say one thing. I'm not going to say anything
You want to
about.
say something, Tom? I am
I'm
shocked. Tell
I'm not
us.
going to say anything about the Chiefs Titans game because Chris Ludicon season now. Um, but at least for the Vikings, they finally got Justin Jefferson actually going in this game. He had like 85 yards after having really quiet. He's not even up to 1,000 yards for the season, which is unlike him. So hopefully he can get to that 1,000 mark. But that was the only thing I was going to say.
I'm
Correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't the Chiefs signed a Bills quarterback off the Bills practice squad? Adam Schefter reported about half an hour ago. You officially signed Shane Buchele
Oh
off
yeah,
the
because
Bills practice squad.
that's because we used to have him. He used to be the practice squad QB for the Chiefs anyway. So he's clearly, familiar with this game, and he's probably going to start and
Against
get
Denver.
absolutely
Oh,
blown away by the Broncos. So here's what it is.
I have a fun little stat that I'm trying to find. It is about Calais Campbell, the Arizona's defensive end, also played for the Falcons and also played for the Patriots.
no, he
He had
didn't.
a
Calais
he didn't play for the
Campbell.
Patriots?
Calais Campbell played for the. I wish he did.
No,
No,
he
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 played for
played for the
Jacksonville. He
Jags.
played for the
He plays
Jags.
for
Played for the
Jags.
Jags.
Sorry,
He was part
sorry.
of
Well, he's played
Saxonville.
for
He was part of Saxonville.
Jacksonville.
he
Yeah,
was
that's right.
so he blocked an extra point yesterday. And I believe it was his 18th blocked extra point in his career.
It's
I'm trying to find
insane.
this, which is amazing. Like, and
Isn't
I
he
mean,
6'8" or something?
he's ginormous. He is like, he
Six
is a
eight, yeah.
giant. Oh, okay. No,
That's
it was
crazy.
his 11th swatted down in 18 years. Sorry, it was his 18, but it was his
Yeah,
11th extra point block in his
that's
career.
still insane though.
That's
Fair play.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, shout out to
Wow.
Campbell.
Yeah.
I would just like to because we all get to talk about our teams in some way. I just like to say thank you, Bijan Robinson. you are awesome. Thank you for just being really good at football and like being great to watch. And what I don't understand is how a guy named Zach Robinson, who's the OC for the running backs, much like some other much like some other coaches we were talking about earlier today, don't just go, I need 3 or 4 yards. Maybe I should just give it to Bijan Robinson. Anyway, Bijan's great. Also,
I
Kyle
mean,
Pitts is going to
Bijan
finish
is po
second
poetry in
tight
motion.
ends.
Like, honest,
Yeah,
I said to you, Chapman, anytime I watched him run with the ball, he's just so smooth. Just the way he
yeah.
goes through his clutch, the way he even had that one run where it was like 19 yards, but
But
it just looks like he's in slow motion, the way he just moves around people. And it's just a shame that he's stuck on the
Do you
Falcons.
know who he does remind me of a bit? He reminds me a bit of Le'Veon Bell. He's
Mm.
just
mm,
patient. Where he's just patient with his runs. And the minute he sees the whole bang, that's it. He's gone. He's through. But
but he catches like McCaffrey, which is cool. I mean,
Yeah.
what I love
yes,
about this era of football is like we're back. Like I never thought we'd see running backs again. Like I mean, I knew we'd see running backs, but I didn't. I thought there was a time there where we just wouldn't have running backs like we do again now. And it's just like, man, we're in just such a good renaissance. Jameer Gibbs, Bijan, just Jonathan Taylor,
Derrick
obviously,
Henry.
James
and
Cook.
yeah, James Cook. I mean, these guys are great, and it's fun to watch them.
Devon Achan as well, even though he's on an
Yeah,
absolute terrible Dolphins team. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um, well, that's it. That's the games. There's a Monday night game tonight. Obviously, 49ers Colts. Don't really have any big thoughts on that, though. I kind of think the Colts might win it, to be honest with you. But that's weird.
Philip
I
Rivers to win.
yeah.
what the timeline in this season is completely screwed up. What's going on? Oh, you did miss one game, Chapman, which is it's still a sucky game. Eagles beating the Commanders 29-18.
Oh, we don't talk about the Eagles on this
Well,
show.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just
fine.
joking.
I
Sorry, it was
mean,
a Saturday game. I'm kidding.
there is one talking
One of the
point from
least
that game.
impressive wins I think I've seen, to be honest. I mean, they were
Impressive
down.
wins.
They came back to win against the Commanders team that's what 3-11 and wasn't even well. I think he went out of this game as well. Marcus Mariota went out of this game, so I
He
don't
Yeah.
even know who the backup to them.
Josh Johnson,
Josh
18,
Johnson,
eight,
he's played on
18,
like
an
18
year
different teams or
veteran,
something.
and he still can't throw a football. The interception he threw, it was a triple coverage, and there was four receivers to the left of him, completely wide open.
And the Eagles finally got Saquon Barkley actually running in this game, so that was something for them, I
Only took
Yes.
them 16 weeks.
I mean,
guess.
the other talking point is it gave the Eagles the NFC East,
Yeah.
which is the
Yeah,
NFC
Yeah.
Least.
first
The
time
NFC
since
in
Least, yeah.
20 years.
2003, 2004 that someone has won back-to-back NFC Easts.
Which is a crazy stat as well. That's insane that there's been no team that's gone back to back until
So,
now.
It just shows you
um,
how inconsistent that
And I
division is.
cannot wait for the Eagles to get bounced to the playoffs.
yeah.
Me either. Gentlemen, do we have anything else you want to chat about? And by the way, I have no idea what we're hurdling this week.
Well, there is something I want to talk about, and you mentioned it already, Chapman. How's everyone doing on their fantasy
I'm beating you,
fantasy
Fletch, right
matchups this
now.
week?
So
Oh, that one. I don't care about that one. How's everyone? I mean, I'm in about 30 leagues, mate. Is what it is.
Jeez.
How's everyone doing? I mean, I'm currently there are two leagues in which I'm in a championship and winning right now. So
I lost my
come on, Mr.
consolation
Reese.
match. I've lost my consolation match, my main league. However, I am in the final of the Patriots Touchback Fantasy League. So
There you go.
I'm waving the flag for my
Oh,
tip for my pod.
I'm
well,
on my way to the final of the AAW League. That's what
yeah.
I'm happy about.
Well, there's
I am
go on, Chapman.
no, nobody gives you. Nobody cares.
I care. I care.
Go.
I care.
I'm in the finals in one, and I have another one that I have a record, which is my big money league, and I'm currently in second place. So 2 weeks to
Very
go.
nice.
Come
Yeah.
on. Right. So, well, I mean, we all like to have play a bit of fantasy football, as has been noted that we're all in at least two leagues each. We all enjoy a bit of fantasy football. I don't know about you guys, but I also like putting a little bet on every now and again. Just a little flutter at the weekend. Add a little bit of spice to my weekend. Maybe get a couple of quid out of it. Um, And I was always wondering if you could do both of them at the same time. And then up steps our good friends over at Fantasy Game Day, the UK's first and only NFL daily fantasy app made by UK fans for UK fans. You could, what was that, Chapman? Sorry.
No, I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay. The first and only NFL daily fantasy app made by UK fans for UK fans. You can join them too. Compete against other UK fans by filling in a lineup to your budget and compete against some of the hurdle of the line guys, compete against some of the UK fans, content creators, and more. And if you head to the link in the description of the episode, go to the website or go to the App Store, download the app, and sign up. When you sign up, use the code HRDLE. That is hurdle without the U.
Because there's no hurdle the line without you.
Beautiful. When you do that and deposit and play for the first time, you will get £7.50 in free plays because they're just really, really generous like that. So again, head into the links in the description, sign up using code HRDLE, deposit, have a go, see if you can win some quid. And look, it's New Year, it's Christmas. You might be able to win a couple of quid over the next few days. Get yourself some pints in for Christmas. Right, get yourself. Oh no, fact no. To be fair, going to be a bit late to get them in for Christmas now, but you might be able to win some over that week. Get some in for New Year, and have a lovely time with some of your winnings, which is exactly what I'm planning on doing.
Well, thank you, Fletch, and thank you, Fancy Game Dip, and thank you, Carl. Thank you, Tom. And that's exactly right. Very good, Tom.
Bro.
Thank you guys all for joining. This has been your Week 16 review show. We will try to come up with something better than Sucky Suck as we review games. But we hope you enjoyed us chatting, and we are always thankful to Carl for joining us on a Monday. We know he is a podcast extraordinaire. I can't even believe he fit us into his schedule, and he brought some great takes. And he always is a good sport when he knows
Hey,
I like
always
to
happy to step in
I
when
like to talk
someone
about.
goes on IR.
There we go. That's my man. Always next man up. Fletch, thank you. I want to wish everyone a happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and we will be hurdling those holidays.